सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज.
The miseries of material existence and the most hopeless conditions of life is the best possible opportunity to turn to God.
You're listening to Bare Knuckle Bhakti Shorties on the Bhakti Recovery Podcast with Jiva G, coming at you every Monday with a little spiritual something. Hey, everyone. I hope you guys survived a holiday season and it wasn't dysfunctional. I'm really hoping that you guys had a quiet one this year. We certainly did. It was very pleasant. And my kids were there and everything, and it was pleasant. So this was a welcomed Christmas this year. Excuse me for clearing my throat. It might happen here and there during this podcast as I am having some weird allergic reaction to something in the air at the moment. But please ignore it and excuse it, and my apologies. So we went through the 12 steps, and what I really want to do is round this off and in telling you what it means to work a program. Now, the steps are a very, very important part of the program, and if not the program, the bones of the program itself. But there are also so many other things that we do to quote unquote work a program. I mean, you may have heard this so often. We work a program. What does that mean? What does that look like? I get that question often. What does it mean to work a program? So I'll just, in a dry manner, just tell you exactly, how it looks on paper. We go to meetings. We get a sponsor. We work the steps, and we do service. Those are all the elements of working a meeting. So let's start with the meetings. When we go to a meeting, we are investing not only in our recovery, but we are investing in others, which is an act of service. We're serving the greater purpose of recovery. We're serving the greater purpose of God's will for us, actually. In every language, Sangha, holy community, holy communion. Well, I think I'm saying that wrong. I'm not Catholic, but fellowship, congregation. It's all part of the program. It's all part of one of the essentials in life. Humans will not survive on their own. That's just not how most of us are not programmed to do so. So going to meetings and sharing your experience, strength, and hope is the most important thing. So what does that look like? What does it mean when I say, I want to share my experience, strength, and hope? What does that mean? Well, first of all, it means that we're sharing something about the program, something about the Gita, something that touches our lives, that have changed our lives, or that is changing in the moment. And not only that, actually the things that we're grappling with, we can talk about that too. That's our experience. My experience right now is I'm experiencing difficulty. Why? I'm experiencing difficulty because I'm struggling with whatever. I'm struggling with drug use. I'm struggling with being sober. I'm struggling with certain behaviors. I'm struggling with biting my nails. I don't know what it is. Any kind of behavior that we do against our own better judgment. We share about it. And the most important thing is that if we don't share about it, secrets grow in the dark. They get worse. Nothing gets better if we just ignore it. It doesn't, especially things like this. The second part, the therapeutic value of one addict helping another. Let's take that. The therapeutic value of going into a room full of people, whether online or in person, when we go there and we share what our experience is, that is a strength. So the strength of going there and saying, okay, this is what's going on right now. The hope is I'm in a program. And this is perhaps the step I'm working on that. Or, hey, I was struggling with this and I picked up the phone and I called my sponsor, and my sponsor reminded me of step 10, or my sponsor reminded me of step 3. That's the importance of going to a meeting, because you're sharing those experiences, and that helps others immensely, and it helps you immensely, more than you will ever know, especially if we're working a whole program, the whole 9 yards. What it does is we tell on ourselves in meetings. We keep it as, and a lot of meetings have a 3 to 5 minute sharing time. The reason why we do that is it's because we tend to repeat ourselves because we can't express ourselves enough. So we repeat ourselves and we sort of get lost in our own little thoughts and we share them out loud. And it's a practice. This 3 to 5 minute sharing is amazing because we get to the point. It trains us to get to the point. It trains us to take all of the ums, the buts, the all the circumstances surrounding our core issue, to stop concentrating on that and to look real deep into that core issue and share about that. So, and it creates a space for others, and it creates a space for you. While you're showing up to the meeting, someone else is going to show up, and I can guarantee you that when you share, somebody will relate. Somebody, maybe even 20 years later, will come up to you and be like, you shared something in a meeting. I've had this happen to me so many times that people came up to me and be like, oh, you're so-and-so. I don't mean anything with Bhakti Recovery Group, just before that, like AA, you're Gwen. I was at a meeting with you in freaking kind of, I don't know, like 1994, and you were sharing this and that. I still remember that to this day. And I've had that too. There are people in meetings who I remember who say things, some of the things that created such an impact on my recovery and the way I looked at things. So that's the essential importance of having that community. So there we go. We have the meetings. The steps. The steps will create our experience. It will create our recovery. It will create a certain basis of how to go about participating in God's work through a very clear program. It's like showing up for God, letting God lead, but here's the instruction manual. Finally, we're going to read the frickin' instruction manual, guys. And this is so important. We just trust that process. Doing the steps not only strengthens your recovery, it not only lets you evolve at a pace that is personal to everybody, but it lets you unfold and to start wearing life like a loose garment. It is the process. It is the actual same process of Arjuna on that battlefield. It is no different. It's the struggles on the way, and it's the steps of how to deal with it on that way of surrender. It's so essential. When we work the steps, we're working a process. We're working a solution. And it requires our footwork. God will take care of all the other stuff. He'll take care of the results. He'll take care of showing up when we show up. Suit up and show up, and God will be there. Whether it's the way you want it or not, that's something different. But in my experience, anything that God had in store for me was way better than what I had in store. That's a fact. So working the steps is a huge, huge chunk. Step one is when we surrender just to that behavior, if we're going to concentrate just on one thing. And it teaches us how to surrender to other things as well. And the reason why I say that, and if you've listened to my podcast before, you'll know that for me, it's been possible till now only to surrender to segmented things in my life, sort of compartmental. Like I can surrender to this and that and this. So it just gives me the process that I can apply over and over again. Step one is the surrender to the admittance that we're not God and we're going to let God, Second is to have faith in that process. The third is to give it away. The fourth is to take that inventory. The fifth is to share it. The sixth is to ask for willingness. The seventh is to ask the removal of the things that are in the way. The eighth is the making the list of the people that we had harmed. The ninth is the amends. The 10th is to continuing dusting that house that we just cleaned out in the 4th step. The 11th is living in Krishna consciousness, living in God consciousness under the love and guidance through chanting, through meditation, through prayer, through DD worship, through reading 12-step literature, through reading the Gita and other Vedic scriptures. And 12th is having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps. We carried this message to all. And we practice these principles in all of our affairs. So here we are. We've worked those steps, and we're at step 12, which is service. So now that we've worked those steps, what do we do with those steps? We don't hoard them to ourselves. We have gotten immense gifts. We have received so much from these steps. It is a changer of life. Literally changed lives. And someone freely gave it to us. It is our dharmic duty in one way to share that with others. It helps keep this message of recovery in Krishna consciousness alive. So we suit up, show up, we go to meetings, we share our experience, strength, and hope. We do service, which means, what does the service mean? What does service look like? Service, everyone's ready at a certain point to do certain services. Some people don't want to do that. That's fully understandable. Some people aren't even there yet. But when you do get there, you need to know that showing up for meetings, sharing, that's service. Showing up for meetings, even when you don't want to, because you know that those meetings got you through. If you don't show up, you're denying somebody else the same privilege that you got, God's gift. That's how I feel. That's how I hold myself responsible to show up and do my part. And that's what has so freely been given to me. I want to give freely and tenfold back. So that's an attitude. That's an attitude I believe will take us further in recovery and take us further in our Krishna consciousness. Loving service in gratitude. So we show up to meetings, that's a form of service. We chair meetings, that's a form of service. We volunteer for, for the committee. BRG has a committee. AA has a committee. Everyone has committees. So we show up for recovery committees. Whatever your calling is, there's always some sort of service for you to do. Because without that service, you wouldn't have gotten where you were. And we need to keep that clear. At least I do. So those are the elements of recovery and how to work a program. That's really solid, let alone all of the Bhakti stuff we're doing, which is practically the same stuff. In my world, at least. And yeah, I wish you guys an amazing new year. I think, yeah, you'll hear this before the new year. And let's think about that. Let's really think about, do we want to work a program? And if yes, when? And you know what? The how is already given. You don't need to figure it out all by yourself. You have a clear, bona fide way of working a program. And it's all there for you. All you got to do is reach out and do it. Yeah. Well, I hope you guys got something from this. And I love you all. We're off to India in, I don't know, about 10 to 12 days. And looking forward to do my service there. And even if there's parts of it I don't want to, but I will do my loving service where loving service is required and needed and wanted, especially that. So happy New Year, people. And I'm really hoping that maybe you can take this into your new year. I'm not one for New Year's resolutions, but some people are. And if you're one of those people, I really am praying that Krishna blesses your New Year's resolutions, your New Year's, affirmations, or whatever that may be for you. Hare Krishna from me and from the whole Bhakti Recovery Group team and from Berlin City. I was trying to think there of something. But yeah, I wish you all a great new year. Haribol, everyone.
Thanks for listening. I hope you liked the Monday Shorties. Don't forget to check out our full-length episodes on Thursdays. If you like what you heard, spread the word. Peace out.
सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज.
The miseries of material existence and the most hopeless conditions of life is the best possible opportunity to turn to God.